welcome to the Virtual Ball Boys podcast. My name is Chris, and look at this, kids. I'm joined once again by my good friend, Matt.
Hey, Chris.
Yes.
What do you call a romantic comedy movie about cut-off denim pants who move in together? And it stars the soon-to-be Packers starting quarterback.
The soon-to-be starting quarterback. Is it Jorts in Love?
Yeah!
God fucking damn it. God damn it. God fucking shit, man. God damn. So how long have you been sitting on that one? I'm curious.
Pretty much since the Packers lost.
Okay, so it's just been sitting in the back of your mind, just
pretty much.
Jorts in Love, Jordan Love.
Yeah.
God damn it. God. All right. Well, amazing, amazing. I need a poster for that.
Jorts in Love.
Jorts in Love.
The supporting actor is Gardner Minshew.
Oh God. Yeah. He's just truly like the it would be the Brokeback Mountain of our time, you know. It'd be amazing. Welcome everyone to the Week 1 recap, Week 2 picks podcast. We're through a week of this NFL season.
We did it.
We did it. We survived.
We started football.
Yeah, the kicks have been off. All right. It's basically we're just underway. Football's back, you know.
Yeah. Now,
of course, this is basically the best thing about Week 1 is that it humbles every single analyst out there. Anyone that talks about football, anyone that predicts anything about football, we all get our ass kicked Week 1. That we're the ultimate losers, us in the media world, when talking about football. Because we lay it all out there. We lay where our allegiances are, what we think is gonna happen, and then Week 1 comes around and like just flips the fucking table and it's just like, no, bitch, you can't do it this way. This is how it's gonna go this year. And so, in honor of that very traumatic set of events, we're going to do a segment called Anomaly or Reality. And basically, we're going to break down whether or not what happened in Week 1 and each of the specific games, each of the specific teams, what is an anomaly, what is reality, what is truly going to be, what is setting the stage for the rest of the season, what is just a one-time thing that we can just forget about once Week 2 comes around. So, we're going to get into that. We'll also have our Week 2 picks as well, going deep into, what we think the next set of games is going to be like. But first, we will be doing our Week 1 recap. And if you're new here, it's basically how we do it. We pick 3 games to talk about. It's the game of the week, the game that we think was the most entertaining. I guess that's arguable in some ways, but it is
most entertaining. Usually a very close game,
right? Yeah,
that could have gone either way.
Yeah, and then blowout of the week is the exact opposite. The game that was a snooze fest, but one side of the field was having a ton of fun at least. And then it's the team chaos of the week, the team that we did not expect to win, but then won anyway. But I think for this particular week, there's an added bonus for it where it's also the game of the week in all the ways as well. So we'll get to that. But the true to form game of the week, in my opinion, and I don't know if you would agree with this, Matt, the game of the week that I chose was Cowboys at Buccaneers.
Yeah, I think that's a good one to start off with, just because it was the first game and it was so good. Yeah,
it's so Cowboys Buccaneers essentially. We've had a run on kickoff games. The Thursday night kickoff game of the season. That are stinkers. Let's be real. I mean, they're not great.
You can thank the Bears for that a lot of the time.
when the Bears just show up and
Yeah.
just lay it. Yeah, no. Well, the Bears Packers was 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
And then last year was Texans Chiefs.
Yeah. And that was a stinker.
That was a stinker too. Yeah, I mean, I feel like you have to go back until like 2015 when like the Panthers and Broncos faced off and they made that more entertaining than their Super Bowl match the year before. Yeah. 2016, I should say, with Panthers and Broncos faced each other. So like no, like this was like I think that Panthers Broncos kickoff was kind of like a messy game. This one was supreme, man. This was a shootout of epic proportions, not necessarily like a 40 points for both teams type game, but all the wide receivers for both teams were showing up. The quarterbacks looked great. Dak Prescott coming back from injury, he looked great. And it really came down to the end, and teams just trying to get themselves in position to kick game-winning field goals. Cowboys thought they had it, then they gave it up to Chris Godwin. And then they were able to the Buccaneers were able to set up and kick the field goal and get that W. What was your reaction watching this game and enjoying it?
I was having a lot of fun. It was really nice to see Dak Prescott just play super well because of his injury last year, and I'm glad that it hasn't held him back. I am not a Cowboys fan.
Mm-hmm.
I am an anti-Cowboys fan, but I really like Dak.
Yeah,
and
of course.
It's good to see him. Good to see him kind of get back into things.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest takeaway from this game, and not to say obviously the Buccaneers look what we expected them to be, which is they seem like a fantastic team again. They seem like they are getting off to a better start than they were last year when they got blown out by the Saints, and definitely in contention to probably be the best team in the NFC this year. But granted, of course, anything can happen. I think that what was clear with the Buccaneers, when the weakness I think that kind of came out of this though, for the Bucs was that their secondary is kind of on the weak side.
Part of that is because a lot of them got injured.
Right, yeah. But it's still, I mean, even with I think it was Bunting, I think was his name. Like even with him being injured though, whether or not he was there or not, they were getting picked apart by that Dak Prescott and those wide receivers.
Absolutely.
And not to say the Cowboys don't have weaknesses either. Their defense had some really great moments, like the Marcus Lawrence had one really big play in the game as well, sack. And I think overall, like their front seven is going to be very interesting. Micah Parsons was all over the field. He made some mistakes though too. Like, I think both teams walk away with like, all right, our offenses are doing very well. I think the Buccaneers front seven is still fantastic. Shaquille Barrett had like a fucking field day with the Cowboys' beat up offensive line, but I also could definitely see where the secondary can hurt the Bucs, and I think that overall the Cowboys defense still has some questions despite it having some decent stars on it overall.
Yeah.
So fun game, really just a great way to kick off the season. And there's a lot of people being like, how can this be topped? Well, let's just wait, because we did have a Sunday night game between the Chiefs and Browns that was very good. That ultimately we did not end up including that in the 3, but we'll talk about that in some capacity in the next segment. But we need to get to the blowout of the week. All right. And I have written here Packers at Saints, and when thinking about like predicting what a blowout of the week would be coming into this week, I thought about the Packers and Saints being here, but not with the Packers being on the losing end of things. It would be like, oh, the Saints, they're without Drew Brees. They're beginning to get a little talent poor. They're not what they used to be. So the Packers being this all-around great team that just is coming off their second straight NFC Championship appearance, they're going to be good. They're going to just steamroll the Saints in Jacksonville. It'll all be great. No, that's not what happened. That is not what happened. Instead, the Saints and Jameis Winston, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. And the Saints defense, I mean, we all underestimated that this unit was gonna still be good, and it fucking delivered. Winston had had wide receivers that were like no names, and they were tearing up the Packers defense. And the Packers offense, my God, Aaron Rodgers turning over the ball had like a 32.6 passer rating of some sort. Those are numbers I just pulled out of my ass, but it was something really low. Like,
he would have had a better passer rating if he threw every pass into the dirt.
Yeah. Which, maybe that's the problem with passer rating.
That's a weird way to look at passer rating, but
that's another conversation. But this was shocking, Matt. And obviously, being the Bears fan on this podcast, you had to have lived for this.
Oh, I was having a jolly time. Rodgers looked awful, washed, almost like he spent the entire offseason on a beach and not working out. Weird, huh?
I think it's gotten to the point where everyone's sick of Aaron Rodgers.
Just fuck this guy.
It has reached the breaking point for society as large as wanting to be sick of Aaron Rodgers. Dude, like, was not with his team the entire offseason. Comes back in August. Tries to, we get some practice in, but ultimately the comments of, the team's gonna be fine without me. They're gonna get their butts together. They'll do it. They'll be fine. No, clearly not. This team that has a good amount of talent overall just completely just bottomed out, and like they had some injuries. I think Bakatari. I think I'm maybe pronouncing that wrong. Bakhtiari, that's it. He was out for the game, and so obviously the offensive line takes a hit on that front. Like there were some injuries, but most of the players that are usually playing on the Packers that make it the juggernaut team that we've seen them as in recent years, like. They were all there, and they stunk, and again against the Saints team that we did not think was going to be that good this year, and now it's like, well, maybe we are just underestimating the Saints or overhyping the Packers, and we'll get to the anomaly or reality of this thing, but man, what a fucking shocker. I thought this was the most shocking result of the entire day for me. I mean, there was a few shocking results, but nothing like this. And then, last but not least, the team chaos of the week.
Can I describe this one?
Oh, please, take it away, my friend.
So, Ravens, Raiders, Monday Night Football. Not only was the end result of the Raiders winning and defeating the Ravens chaotic, this game just exuded chaotic energy.
And
maybe it was the Raiders stadium itself. Maybe it was the fact that Darren Waller is on some insane target pace. Like, I think I saw something like he's on pace for 370 targets this year.
Wow. Yeah.
After one game. Maybe it's the fact that everyone fucking rushed onto the field at the end of overtime. Well, first, it went to overtime. Second, everyone rushed onto the field thinking the Raiders won. They didn't. So they had to reset shit, and then Lamar lost a fumble, and then the Raiders, rather than just kicking a field goal, just, hey, let's do this bomb touchdown. Derek Carr looked fucking amazing. And the Ravens don't have a bad defense. They have a banged-up defense. But
they haven't banged up everything. Let's be real.
They haven't banged up everything. Yeah. So they weren't quite what they should have been. Definitely not the who they were when we made this pick. But holy shit, this game just was the most chaotic. And then you find out after the game, Marlon Humphrey probably had an interception that no one noticed.
Interesting.
He got a hold of the ball. And it looked like it was batted down in the moment, but he had it. It touched. It never hit the ground. Like, he had it, and it kind of bounced off a guy's leg, but it never hit the ground. That was an interception. Marlon Humphrey intercepted the ball, and no one noticed.
When was that? During overtime?
I want to say during overtime, or at least late in the game.
Wild. That's wild.
Yeah.
No, this was a fever dream. And, like, early on, the Raiders were not playing well, and the Ravens kind of were having their way with them. But that kind of changed in the second quarter, where the Raiders kind of started going on a roll, and the Ravens defense started to get picked apart a bit. I mean, Marlon Humphrey had himself a game. So did Marquise Brown. So did Lamar Jackson in some ways. I mean, some of the stars for the Ravens did show up, but the turnovers killed them. And then like we were saying, before we haven't recorded since it happened. On Thursday, a bomb drops, and Gus Edwards and Marcus Peters are both out with the same injury with ACL, and they're going to be done for the year. Which is just so horrible luck, especially for their running back. They're just their running backs. Like, it's just insane. The situation. But you'll know who was the name of the guy that ended up filling in for the Ravens. He ended up looking good.
Oh, Tyson Williams.
Yeah, Tyson Williams. He looked pretty good at times.
Undrafted rookie.
Nice, yeah,
doing great.
Yeah, he got in there. He ended up doing as much as he could, but again, it was just a lot of bad luck on both sides. Like, the amount of times it was the game that no one wanted to win, and someone had to win it, and the Raiders decided they were the ones to do so. Held their nose and did it, and it was just such a strange, topsy-turvy, wild set of events. I have a array of texts from Matt saying how much he just wants to go to bed and how he can't handle this anymore. He just absolutely...
obviously I couldn't turn it off.
Oh no, of course. Like, he's no. I mean, it was all just like, oh my god, this is so fucking stressful, but yet I want more. I crave more of this at the same time. That's the addiction that is this fucking sport. So this all was happening, and it was chaotic. It was great. This was my game of the week, if I had to be honest. But this felt more in the chaos column of all things. But then there was another thing that we did during this. This broadcast started, and I realized, I was like, oh shit, the Manning people, the Peyton and Eli,
the Manning people.
The Manning people, yeah. The Manning brothers, they're doing their whole little broadcast over at ESPN2. We need to consume this in some capacity, just for a little bit, just to see what it's like. All right. So I text Matt, and I'm like, hey, can you do me a favor? Just flip over and just watch for a little bit. And I was not going to let him do it alone. I did it to myself as well. Matt, I'm curious about your thoughts about the Manning at Power Hour here.
It was fine. Like, I'm glad that I didn't watch the entire game like that, but when the game was boring, the commentary felt that way, and then I'm glad I wasn't watching it while the weird shit was happening at the end.
Yeah.
Because, Eli is not that charismatic. Just to be totally honest, Eli is not that charismatic in front of a camera.
No, he's not.
In my opinion.
No.
And, especially, you can fucking tell, he is looking at every screen that's in front of him. Not sure where to look.
Right.
Ooh,
sorry.
someone's having
someone's really angry about your Eli take. He's like, Eli's looks amazing for the TV. How fucking dare you?
I'm sorry, New York. Peyton is better, but he's still it's not the best.
That's the thing. This is what gets under my skin a bit, because I'm watching this, right, and I watched it. They had Charles Barkley on for a bit, and Peyton Manning just tries to find every opportunity to drop a one-line dad joke in the middle of his commentary, and he's a pretty good football commentator. It'd be interesting if he was a color commentator with someone paired with a play-by-play guy. Be interesting, but I don't know, like the way that I consumed this whole thing, how I was experiencing it. I was in my kitchen. I was just heating up lunch, and the whole time or not lunch, Jesus, heating up dinner. And I was listening to this whole thing. I was just like, man, like this reminds me so much of being at a family party and sitting and watching the game with my uncles and hearing them talk nonstop about football. In a smart way, I guess. But, like, I want to just roll over and, like, I just want to put the whole thing on, like, I just want to go away. I just want to walk away. I want to turn the TV on in another room and watch it there and not have to listen to their constant commentary. It was kind of that vibe that I was getting from it. And, like, I realized that, like, oh man, I would much rather watch the game on mute than listen to these guys talk. Like, that was the kind of sense that I was getting from it. Granted, I understand that for many people, that people love the Manning brothers, and also that Payton is very smart, Eli's very smart. They gave you a little inside football, a bit. They talking with, like, I think Ray Lewis was amongst them, and then whoever, Russell Wilson, Travis Kelce. There was a few guests there, and they were talking about certain things, and there was some interesting things that came out of it. But man, was it not entertaining at all. It's not for me, clearly. And
right,
my big thing though was that, like, so many people online, so many people I follow were like, oh my god, this is the next coming of sports broadcasting. This is what the future is now, folks. This is that we have reached peak broadcasting. Peyton and Eli are gods that have descended from the heavens to deliver us the perfect broadcast. And, like, these are the same people that, like, quote Seinfeld on a constant basis on Twitter. Like, it's those people that were,
I was
like,
going to ask, are they over 45?
Like, those are the kind of, that's the audience that was really enjoying it.
Are they the age of Peyton and Eli Manning? Because in which case, they probably really enjoyed it.
Right, exactly. Like, and that's the thing. Like, but I feel like the way that ESPN is trying to promote this, they're trying to say this is, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just reading it wrong on the situation. It feels like they're trying to cater this to a younger audience that, for some reason, does not want play-by-play people.
Yeah,
but, like,
well, no. So as the younger audience, we don't want this.
No, right. That's the thing.
At least the two of us do not want this. It's like the level of insight that they were offering was kind of cool, and I can see them like just this conversation. That's why podcasts exist.
Right. Exactly.
They were essentially doing a podcast, or like you said, corporation's first Twitch stream.
Yes, that's right. I forgot I said that.
Yeah. So like it's what they weren't doing. It felt like was football commentary. They were having a podcast, or they were doing a YouTube commentary unscripted while a game was happening.
Reaction
and every
video.
once in a while. Yeah, and every once in a while they would, like, go into the game, but the game didn't feel like the focus, and that, I think, is the problem with it overall.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, and I there was some interesting commentary online too that was like,
yeah,
it's hard to throw a ton of things at the audience, and because then all of a sudden you're going to get them confused, and they're going to be like, I don't know what's happening. I'd rather just go back to the game because at least they're telling me what's happening on the field in a consistent manner. Because they would cut, like, the few times that they cut to commercial while I was watching it, like, they would cut them off, like, mid-sentence. Like, there was no smooth transition. And granted, it is their first broadcast, and I think that they've said that they're actually going to be at these locations in future weeks. But for whatever reason, they chose week 1 to have it be that they're remote. But I hope that it does seem better in future weeks, but I don't know. I like the play-by-play guys more, and that's just my take.
It also like I just one moment that is so that was so dumb to me was there was what looked like initially an interception, ended up not being it, but that for that moment, like, you're watching the game, like, oh, that's an interception, and what are Peyton and Manning doing? Peyton and Eli doing? They're showing a picture of Charles Barkley's head photoshopped on Peyton Manning's body.
Yeah, because they were asking him about, have you ever played football, Charles?
Yeah.
Like, have you ever played football? And it's just like, who cares?
Who gives a shit?
Let's
move on. Let's move on.
Wait.
I don't want to talk about these brothers again.
No, just one more thing. Did you see that the fire alarm went off during the broadcast?
No.
Yeah. So
I was not watching that long.
It's I think like PFF or someone posted on Twitter. You could probably find it somewhere. But yeah, the fire alarm went off during the broadcast, and they're just like, Payne blamed Eli because that's just this, the Payne jokes that are there. And he was, and then he was just like, it was Ray. They were talking to Ray Lewis, and they're like, "All right, well, Ray, thanks for thanks for coming on. We appreciate you being on, man." And then meanwhile, you just hear that in the background the whole time, and they like, "How do you transition from this?" It was chaos.
Oh my God.
It was the whole fucking night was chaos. But I digress. I hope people are enjoying it. I am just not. All right, let's throw it to break. We'll come back with the Anomaly and Reality, but first, let me tell you about our sponsors. It has been 2 years since we started Team Chaos Productions, and we would not be where we are today without the help of Anchor. You've heard us talk about it all the time, but let me remind you, this completely free platform gives creators the tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast from your computer or phone. Once done, Anchor will distribute your podcast to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more so you don't have to. You can also make some money on the episodes with no minimum listenership. It's everything you'd ever want in a podcasting platform, so download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Happy podcasting.
What makes Table Party different from other tabletop podcasts?
The music.
The setting.
The characters.
The gore.
A bunch of different games.
The refreshing coldness of ice cream.
The 300-foot-tall squid named Delilah.
The dice rolls.
The horrifying body horror.
The aroma.
The suffering of my players.
Dairy Queen blizzards.
The luxurious plush texture.
The free coupons.
Bad decisions.
And who can we expect?
I'm Kelsey.
I'm Matt.
I'm Gabe.
I'm Walsh.
I'm Chris.
Welcome to the Table Party.
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 Bo-da-da-da-da-da.
And welcome back. We are now gonna talk a little week 1 overall reactions right now, alright? We're gonna sift through some of these games, and I wanna know deep down where our feelings are about some of these teams. Specifically the surprising results. And I want to start. Let's go back to Packers at Saints. All right, let's talk about some of the games we already talked about. Packers at Saints. For you, Matt, the Packers, was that an anomaly or reality?
Knowing Aaron Rodgers is probably an anomaly, but holy shit, do I want it to be reality?
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. I think it is. I think it's an anomaly. I think that it's just them off to a slow start, and that they felt like, oh well, we'll be fine. Everything's gonna be fine. Aaron Rodgers will come back whenever, and everything's will be good. I think they need more time together in the offseason, and I think they need to get back on sync. I do think the Lions have a shot in this game if the Packers are gonna play if the Packers are gonna play like they did, but. I do think it's an anomaly. Where are you at with the Saints, though? That's my big question.
I mean, I think that they are actually going to be a pretty solid team. The injuries that happen on defense are going to hinder them a little bit.
Yeah,
but I think that they could compete for a playoff spot for sure.
Yeah, I think it's it is very close to reality. Like I don't think they're going to be dominating teams like they did this.
No.
But I think that we're going to see a better team than what we thought. So that's that. What about the Ravens in terms of them losing and them having the injury issues and them kind of getting their defense picked apart? Do you think that this is going to be a theme for the Ravens this season?
I unfortunately do. Mm-hmm. Like I think they'll find their stride, but I do think that just with how little they have, how little depth they have and how all of them keep getting injured, it will unfortunately turn into reality.
Yeah, I'm kind of I'm basically in the same boat as you there. I think the Ravens. I really want to see the Ravens succeed with Lamar Jackson because it is this constant like I don't want to call it a PR battle, but people are just assholes when it comes to Lamar Jackson, and I think that he deserves a lot more credit than he gets at times. And so in that sense, I do want him to succeed, but I just think that his team right now is kind of in disarray, and I think that they could be fine with the running back position. And maybe the wide receivers, as they get healthier, maybe that'll make things better. The defense gets healthier. I don't know. But the defense was just not good last night. I think that's going to be a big question mark going forward. I'm going to skip around here. Let's go to Buffalo. The Bills. Where are you at with the Bills? Was that an anomaly or a reality for you?
I think I'm going to lean anomaly just because of how good the Steelers' defense is.
That's where, you and I are on the same track with all these. I'm with you. I think the Bills the Bills were struggling against the Steelers defense last year, but they ended up breaking through. To me, this was kind of like a repeat of last year's game. Only this time it was the Steelers that ended up breaking through, and that was thanks to special teams just going wrong for the Bills, and the defense just playing so well for the Steelers. But what about the Steelers? We were kind of, both of you and I were kind of down on them. Do you think that this changes our perception? Like, do you think that this is going to be the reality that they're going to be dominant?
Not dominant, but definitely in contention.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can't write them out.
Yeah, you can't write them out. I still think the offense is a question mark because they also were struggling in this game. Like the Bills defense were very good up until like the last quarter. So I think they'll be fine on that front. Let's see. Let's talk about these Titans. So you picked the Cardinals to win, but I don't think you would have expected the Cardinals to dominate the way they did.
Nope.
We'll talk about the Cardinals in a second, but what about the Titans? Does this worry you? Do you think that this is a reality for the Titans or an anomaly?
I worry a little bit because the Cardinals don't have the best defense.
Yeah.
And they really did not use Julio that much compared to kind of what you were expected. So I worry for them. I don't know if I can say either way this week.
Yeah, and I think that also the problem is that I think they did try to target Julio Jones, but he was just not performing well.
No,
he had one of the worst performances that you'd like to see out of a star wide receiver in Julio Jones. So it just completely fell apart for them. I think this is a reality. I wanted to go in believing the Titans that they would be fine, but I do feel like not having Arthur Smith there's something there that I think that is going to be missing this year, and I think that they're going to have a tough climb. They have to face the Seahawks this week, and who I feel like there's a chance that could end up being the same exact result. I don't know. Maybe I'm just buying into just week one weirdness, but I'm a little worried about how the Titans how things have kind of shifted for the Titans here. But the Cardinals, I'm now jumping on the bandwagon with you, man. I think this is reality. I think the Cardinals are finally getting it. Kyler Murray is amazing, but more importantly, Chandler fucking Jones with his 5 sacks, he was insane in that game.
Yeah.
So I'm with you on reality. I don't think I even need to ask. You're on board with this Cardinals team. You think they're going to be good this year?
Fucking yeehaw! Let's ride it. Ride this bird.
It's not the Cowboys. It's like
we're riding the bird, Chris.
Okay, all right, sounds good. Stay. We gotta make sure to hold on tight while they fly. All right. Let me skip down to. All right. let's do the Houston Texans. What do you think that this one win for the Houston Texans is going to be the reality or the anomaly here?
Fucking anomaly. I think in all honesty, I think Tyrod played fantastic. I'm really happy for him. I'm really happy that he's finally getting his real shot and not have like a rookie a high profile rookie quarterback behind him.
Yep, I agree. I'm with you.
But but oh my god, Jacksonville is so bad.
That's the thing, and we can transition to that. But I'm with you. I do think it's an anomaly. I think the Houston Texans are like the candidate for like to do what the Jaguars did last year: win this week, and then just fucking
never again.
Then just coast the rest of the way. And be like, all right, let's sit on this W. We're good. We collected one. Jaguars. I think this is the reality for the Jaguars this season.
It is very hard for college coaches who have a ton of success in college to have success in the NFL.
Yeah.
And this feels very prescriptive of Urban Meyer turning into Chip Kelly.
Yeah, I'm with you. Although I mean, I guess you could point to like, I guess Pete Carroll maybe is like the
one exception.
Yeah,
the exception that proves the rule.
But granted, he was USC head coach, but before that we did work in the NFL. I think he actually was a head coach.
Yeah.
In the NFL prior to his USC gig. But yeah, I think that we are starting to hear some things about Urban Meyer not being very loved in that locker room. So that's not a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Trevor Lawrence did not look good. He had some pretty throws, but overall, 3 interception performance. Things that he was not accurate on. Urban Meyer was not happy to how inaccurate he was. Yeah, I think this is going to be a season of growing pains for them. I don't see them really finding a ton of success. I think it's going to be one of those things where you and I are probably going to pick against the Jaguars a good chunk of the way, and then the minute that they win, they're going to win in like some sort of spectacular fashion, and then we might buy it a little bit on the Jaguars.
Right, because that's the Jaguars experience for us.
Yeah, basically.
in picking shit. Remember that one year, the year they went to the playoffs, they alternated good and bad weeks to start the season.
Oh yeah, no,
and we
yeah,
couldn't fucking nail them down.
That was so frustrating.
That was so fucking funny
because they were so like, it was like, all right, we got them now. We know they're not good. They're not going to win this game, and then they fucking win it.
Then they score 45 points in London.
Right? Yeah. Like, what the fuck? How does this happen? Yeah, that's where I'm at too. Let's go. We could do a few more here. Let's look at the Giants. The Broncos and Giants, I should say. This is, like this one, I don't know if we can walk away with this result being like a, like have our opinions super changed on these teams now than before. But the Giants were really bad.
Giants bad.
they were really bad this year in this game. Daniel Jones was terrible. The defense had like its moments of being okay, and then they lost their shit. Saquon Barkley got 26 yards rushing. Fucking God Christ, Giants. I mean, it was abysmal performance, and then I think that's the reality of the New York Giants. I'm so sick and tired of hearing people being like, "Oh no, they'll be fine. They are so talented on the offense." All right, well then, fucking like. Then
why aren't they scoring points? Why does Daniel Jones? Why is he unable to hold on to a football? He plays football.
Yeah, like no, they're gonna be wrong. I think the Broncos are for real. I think they're gonna be good this year.
Yes,
I think the defense is very good, but I think that the Giants could have scored with the amount of weapons and the amount of a pedestal that the Giants are being put on by the football world. You would think that this game, that these guys would have at least gone to 20 points, like at least. But no, it didn't happen, and this team sucks ass, in my opinion. So that's
not just your opinion.
Yeah, that's just the broad thing. How about the Rams? Before we go to the Bears, I want to talk about the Rams because I feel like this team, I'm kind of like, I'm with you now a little bit where I'm like, damn, this team is going to be hard to stop.
This team is the real fucking deal.
They're fucking real. They got Matthew Stafford now. And that defense was so brutal against the Bears, but that offense was flying. That the weapons that Stafford has is I really, it is unlike what he had with the Lions, even though he did have, like, for the longest time, he had one or at least two solid wide receivers to throw to. But this one, like, he could just throw to anyone and it would work out for him. Like, it is working for the Rams. Where are you at with the Bears in terms of anomaly versus reality? You know, is this the reality of the Bears, or is this an anomaly? You let me know. What do you got?
No, it's so these two terms don't really like work for the Bears.
They're the in between. They're an
in between, because the way that I see it is, and I've seen from Twitter the casual Bears fans, so people who aren't like you and I are really fucking into football.
Mm-hmm.
The casual people who like just watch the Bears and don't really pay attention to other stuff happening in the league. Everyone else is like, "Oh, this season sucks already. We're doomed. It's awful. Why the fuck is Dalton starting?" And I'm still a little bit that way. But the thing is, most things that I've been seeing from Twitter from more football minded people, like a Tom Fornelli type, who are Bears fans, but also like in the football world,
mm-hmm.
is the Bears lost really bad, but this is the most confident I felt about them in a couple of years.
And
I kind of agree with that.
Yeah.
With the offense, because I think when Fields takes over, it will definitely be better. But it was surreal to watch that many completed passes in a row.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And that is a really low bar and a really sad bar, but he completed passes.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
That's the thing. I kind of like, I don't know. I didn't really walk away feeling very good about the Bears, but
I don't feel good.
I hear your point though.
I feel that, like, okay, there's something happening. It's not going to be great, and I think Nagy's going to get fired this year, but It's something.
Yeah, it's something. And I think that I'm very curious. You know, we'll see what happens. I think this week the Bears are being visited by the Bengals, and that would be a nice Andy Dalton revenge game. You know, That's kind of, you know, deep down, that's where I usually root for. What will get us to a revenge game of some kind? And you got Andy Dalton versus the Bengals next week. I mean, it is 6:56 Eastern time on a Tuesday. Maybe all of a sudden tomorrow morning before this podcast goes live, Justin Fields will be named the starting quarterback. But even regardless, that would be a storyline I'll be interested in seeing. You know, see if Andy Dalton can get his revenge on his former team. Speaking of the Bengals got their victory.
They did.
We this was like, again, this was our Team Chaos, you know, conversation about, like, you know, if we were going to choose between this or the Ravens Raiders. But it's worth pointing out, Bengals did it. Bengals got the win, and against a Vikings team that I was high on, and now I don't know where I'm at with them. But we'll start with the Bengals. I think it could be a reality. Personally, I don't know, because I think that they have something there. There's something there. There's something engaging about it that I'm like, okay, they got an offense going. Jamar Chase looked great. Joe Burrow looked great. And, like, the defense is still worrying to me, but, like, I don't know. The offense is spicy. I kind of like it.
It's just hard to believe because they spent the entire preseason sucking ass.
Yeah. Yeah, that is the reality. That was a lot of oomph in that sucking ass.
You know it. But they were really bad in the preseason, so everyone's like, oh, they're just gonna Bengal it up again. And now they beat the Vikings. They beat them in overtime, and they have an offense. Joe Mixon, fantastic. The receiving options doing really well. Burrow looks great.
Yeah,
this is a good team.
Yeah. Especially, I mean, on offense. I mean, defense, I think I'm still like, they have players that are good, you know, Trey Hendrickson and things like that. But, like, they have guys on there that will be interesting. But I think that's my big thing. Can the defense close out games? Which they did this time. But, you know, that would be a big question moving forward. Although granted though, it did take a while for the Vikings to score, so maybe I'm not giving the defense enough credit. Speaking of the Vikings though, I don't know where I'm at with the Vikings at this point.
Me neither.
Yeah. Like it's like I want to say that this was an anomaly and that they just a weird thing, but I don't know. Mike Zimmer has been like getting angrier and angrier at his team.
Yeah, it's a weird team, weird situation. It feels like there's I don't know.
Go ahead.
I don't know. I don't know how to feel.
Yeah, like I feel like there's just angst amongst them there, just like that they're ready to like go toe to toe with each other and just be like, "Fuck you, man." You know, I don't know. Like I like it just feels like nothing was sparking for the Vikings team, and obviously they were able to compete enough to get to overtime, but yeah, I'm a bit like I don't think it's the reality for them. I think it's an anomaly, but I also need to see them in week 2 to see what happens, and they got the Cardinals next, so that will be a test. Speaking of week 2, it is here.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. I think you started last time, so
yeah,
I'll get this ball rolling here.
Okay.
How about the New York Giants on Thursday Night Football, baby? Going up against the Washington Football Team. What we didn't talk about was that Ryan Fitzpatrick out for 6 weeks at least, with a hip injury. He's on IR, so this is Taylor Heineke's team. And it's Taylor Heineke versus Daniel Jones. What a quarterback matchup to kick off the Fox Thursday Night Football slate. Actually, I think this is on NFL Network, but regardless, this is a Washington team that played well on defense but could not stop the Chargers. Do you think, Matt, that this defense will stop the New York Giants?
Yes. The New York Giants are very stoppable, and the Washington defense is very good. And I think even though they're missing Fitzpatrick, they still have enough on offense. Antonio Gibson played really well last week. They'll be fine on offense. Yeah. So Washington's a pretty closest pick for me here.
And let's remember, I mean, last time that we saw Taylor Heineke start, he played very well. He went toe-to-toe with Tom Brady. I mean, that might have been the closest Buccaneers game in the playoffs. Maybe the Packers, actually, that I remember. But still, that was a really, like, they were having a shootout down in Landover. So, I'm with you. I'm going with the Washington Football Team, and not only that, I'm doing what I should have done last week, and I'm guaranteeing against the Giants here. I'm guaranteeing the Washington Football Team. I'm gonna regret this, but you know what? Fuck it. We'll keep going. What's next?
Don't we regret everything? Next, the Bears host the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals coming off of a win. Bears coming off of a Sunday night loss. Will either of these teams be able to repeat what they did or right the wrongs that they did last week? I don't know where I'm going with this, Chris. What do you think?
No, you're kind of you're on the right track. I don't know, maybe this is surprising, but I'm actually going to fit. I think Andy Dalton is going to get his revenge against the Cincinnati Bengals. I think the Bears are going to win this. I think that. I think that if I had them pick, but I'm gonna go off of what you were saying earlier. I do think that there's something here for the Bears where they could win games against teams that are not maybe as talented as they are. Do I think the Bengals could win this though? Absolutely. So I'm not touching any. I'm not putting any qualifiers on this shit.
No.
Like for life of me, but I'm picking the Bears.
I'm also picking the Bears. I'm going to choose, this season is another one where I'm just going to take any opportunity I can, any glimpse of hope I can see to pick the Bears, to pick them.
There you go. All right, next up, the Houston Texans at the Cleveland Browns. It is such a shame hearing people be like, "Oh, the Browns are the Browns," and it's just like, "Fuck you, man." The Browns
lost to the Chiefs.
They lost to the Chiefs, and they led the Chiefs for 2 scores. Like literally, evidence of how the Chiefs could just destroy any other NFL team is by the team that the Browns are facing this week, the Texans. Remember 28-0, wherever the fuck that score was, before the Chiefs came back and won that playoff game and like blew them out too, like. Fucking God, people, calm down with your lazy commentary.
They had one bad punt.
Yeah, Yeah, basically.
Learn how to think critically.
The Browns are coming off of the tough loss, but the Texans are coming off of a nice win. What do you think's gonna happen here?
The Browns are going to beat the NFC or the AFC South leaders.
Yeah, no, this is easy for me. The Browns.
Yep.
The Browns will humble the Texans. I believe it truly in my heart.
Yeehaw's going to turn to Haw Yee.
Next
up, the Los Angeles Rams, coming off of their Sunday Night Football win, are going to take on the Indianapolis Colts. What do you think?
I gotta go Rams. I just think that they're the better team right now. They are so good. I think that they're going to be really tough out in any game they play in.
Yep, Seahawks torched the Colts last week, and I think the Rams are going to do the same thing.
Pretty much.
And I don't think Carson Wentz is going to have a fun time.
Next up, the Buffalo Bills at Miami Dolphins. Intriguing one. Bills coming off of their loss against the Steelers. The Dolphins narrowly winning over the New England Patriots. We'll see if the Bills can bounce back in this game, or if the Dolphins can start building a lead in the AFC East. What do you think is going to happen?
That would be very surprising. I'm still going to stick with the Bills. I still believe in them. I think the Steelers were just a very tough Week 1 opponent for them, and I think that they will be able to take care of business. I
am with you that I still believe in the Bills. I mean, you and I have voted them and voted Josh Allen MVP. We have them in the Super Bowl. We really have egg in our face after Week 1. And unfortunately, I do think that we're going to have more egg in our face because I'm team chaosing the Miami Dolphins here.
Oh boy.
I just wanted to be frisky here. I want to see the Dolphins succeed a little bit. I think the Dolphins have a chance here to make things very interesting in the AFC East as they are, and since they're hosting this game, I'm like, all right, I'll give them the advantage. So, cool. Team Chaos, the Miami Dolphins.
Awesome. Next up, the New England Patriots coming off their loss, take on the New York Jets, also coming off of their loss. Neither team scored more than 20 points last week. Who's going to win this matchup?
I'm going to go with the Patriots. I think that Mac Jones played well. They've given even though it didn't really work out for them. I think it was just the Miami defense was tough. I think the Patriots defense is also very good. And I just don't know where I'm at with the Jets as a whole. I just think that they are just kind of going to float throughout the season as another bad season ahead for them. So I'm going to go Patriots.
I'm also going to go Patriots. I feel pretty solid.
Yeah. Next up, the San Francisco 49ers at the Philadelphia Eagles. Both teams won last week. 49ers held on against the Lions, and the Eagles took it to the Atlanta Falcons big time. What do you think's going to happen here?
So this was almost a team chaos for me. Because of just San Francisco secondary being banged up a bit, and Jalen Hurts having a hell of a game. Sure. I think that the Eagles are a much more talented team than we gave them credit for, and especially that I gave them credit for. But I still am going to go with the 49ers on this one.
I'm going with the 49ers. I know the Eagles had a good game, and we were wrong about them last week, but I think they answered a lot of questions.
It was the Falcons.
But it was the Falcons, right? The Falcons, I don't know, are going to be very good this year. And I think the 49ers are going to be good. I think they just ended up, letting off the gas pedal, letting the Lions to kind of come back a bit in a very uncomfortable way. But I have faith in the 49ers, so I'm going to go with them.
All right, next up, we have the Las Vegas Raiders coming off of their chaotic Monday Night Football win, facing the Pittsburgh Steelers coming off of their really nice win as well.
Yeah.
Who do you think's going to win?
This is the easy answer for me. But I do think that the Raiders could win this game in a surprise match, but I just think the Steelers defense is too good. I think that this is a defense that they didn't get this week with the Ravens, what we thought the Ravens defense could have been this week. And I think that they're going to get a wake-up call like, oh, maybe we're not that good as we thought. So I'm going to go Steelers.
I'm throwing caution to the wind and Team Chaosing the Raiders.
I love it. I love
Just
it.
because, like, they were the embodiment of chaos last week. I want to see him do it again, and I want to see Waller get all of the touchdowns or all of the passes at least.
Honestly, like,
just because it would be really funny if Waller set the reception record as a tight end.
Oh my god, yeah, that'd be wild. And I'm not saying I don't think it's a stretch at all. Like, I think that it absolutely could happen because I still don't completely believe in the Steelers' offense.
Right.
But man, I love it. I think that it's a risky team chaos, but I like it. I like it a lot. Next up, the Saints at the Panthers, an NFC South match. Both teams coming off of wins. Saints, of course, having maybe the bigger win, the crazy win. What do you think's going to happen here?
So, real quick on the Panthers, just because I haven't mentioned yet,
Sure.
the Adam Gase effect is real.
Yeah.
Because Darnold wasn't amazing, but he went from atrocious to competent, which is a big change. That
shifts
Adam,
things a little bit.
Yeah. So the Adam Gase effect is real. Just wanted to mention that, and it was against the Jets. To be fair, I'm gonna go with the Saints, but I feel good about the Panthers just in general.
Yeah.
I hope they can keep up offense. Also, Christian fucking McCaffrey. Holy fucking shit.
Yeah, he's unstoppable. I'm gonna go with the Saints though. I think another unstoppable player is Alvin Kamara.
Yep.
He had a field day, and I think he's gonna have another one in this game.
All right, next up we have the Denver Broncos taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Denver coming off a win. Jacksonville coming off of a loss to the team that should have won 0-16. What do you think is going to happen in this matchup?
I really like the Broncos. I maybe 2 East Coast trips back to back is gonna maybe hamper them a bit, make them a little bit tired. I'm sure they're probably not going back to Denver. It'd be wild if they are. But I really like them. I think that I think the defense is gonna tear apart the Jaguars offense right now. I just think that I think the Jaguars, it's gonna be a while for them before they get their first win. So I'm gonna go Broncos.
Broncos all the way.
There you go.
Easy pick.
Next up, the Minnesota Vikings at the Arizona Cardinals. Vikings coming off of the close loss to the Bengals. The Cardinals blowing out the Titans. Can they keep the Cardinal train moving right now?
I feel really confident on the Cardinals offense. I think that Kyler is a generational talent. I love watching him play, and I wish I could watch the Cardinals play more, and I hope that this is like in my market on Sunday, which it might be. Don't know yet.
It's 4:05.
506 Sports hasn't. It's not at the same time as the Bears, which is good.
I think since it's a single header, I don't think you're gonna get it because
okay.
Bengals at Bears is on Fox, and then that later hours.
That's also on Fox.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, I'm gonna guarantee the Cardinals.
There you go. I love it. I'm picking the Cardinals as well. Yeah, just for all the same reasons that you were saying. I was really worried about this Cardinals team because I was like, I don't know, they're not being as talked about compared to the other 3 teams. I feel like their way they ended last season was rough, but then after seeing them against the Titans, I was like, all right, they're for real, they're a real deal, and I'm excited to see what they do to this Vikings team.
All right, Atlanta Falcons take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Atlanta Falcons need an offense and a defense and few rule changes, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers need pretty much nothing.
And they need Jesus. They need they need everything.
Shoutouts to those who got that reference.
I did not get the reference.
That's okay.
But I like it.
It's from The Good Place, specifically referring to the Jaguars.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
the 2016 Jaguars, before they got good.
I would hate if Matt Ryan goes like flames out here, man.
Me too.
The guy is just such a great quarterback. Has been so underrated in his career outside of the MVP season. So I really hope this doesn't become like a crash and burn type situation for him, But Buccaneers are just so good right now, so going Buccaneers.
Yep. All right, Dallas Cowboys. No, it's your turn.
Did you?
I picked the Buccaneers as well.
Yeah, I think that's what
I thought that was obvious.
Yeah, I was just like, I think
Yeah.
what happened was that we made it very clear where we stood.
Yes.
And that the Buccaneers were going to win. Dallas Cowboys at the Los Angeles Chargers. Good game. You got Dak Prescott going up against Justin Herbert. Should be a fun little shootout, potentially. Where do you stand on this game?
This is one that I had a very hard time picking.
I would imagine.
I'm gonna go with the Cowboys.
Okay. I'm gonna be opposite here. I'm going Chargers. I just like the defense a little bit more for the Chargers.
I agree with that.
So that's where I'm at right now.
Cool. All right, Tennessee versus Seattle. Tennessee just got picked apart by some birds. Can Seattle do it again?
Yeah. It's it's like I feel like you had like the Titans are just bread that you like threw out for birds to have, and then like they dismantled like half of it, and now like all the Cardinals that picked up all that bread, they're gone, and now the Seahawks are flying in to gather the rest of that bread right now, and I think the Seahawks are gonna gobble them up.
Yep. I'm also going.
All right, moving on.
Seahawks. Is it your turn?
You're wait. Yes, you're right. Fuck me. All right,
Yep.
the Chiefs.
Okay.
it's so much chaos
We're
going
getting
on
back
right
into it. We're getting back into it.
now. The Chiefs at Baltimore Ravens. The Chiefs are they're the Chiefs. They're dominant. Can the Ravens at all stabilize themselves after all these injuries?
God help them in this fucking game.
Yeah.
Oh God, I feel so bad for them. Oh my God, Ravens, my poor Ravens.
Yeah.
Oh no.
You're picking the Chiefs.
I'm picking the Chiefs.
Okay, I'm picking the Chiefs as well. I feel pretty good about it. And last up,
we have the Detroit Lions coming off of an almost comeback against the 49ers, against the Green Bay Packers with a bad quarterback, or a quarterback who played poorly in 1 week, but in that 1 week was a bad quarterback.
Right, there you go.
And I will describe him that way, because until he shows me otherwise, he's not a good quarterback right now.
Uh-huh.
And I need this, Chris.
I need anything to hold on to here.
I
think the Packers are going to win, and I think that they bounce back. I think this is an relax game where they just show the world that everything's okay. But this is nerve-wracking for the Packers going in, though.
Yeah, I'm also going with the Packers, but if they lose this game, it will be even funnier.
Oh man, can you fucking believe that like the Texans are not eligible for 0-17? I wanted to see. They should have been the first.
They should have.
They should have been the fucking first.
Now it can be the Packers.
Wow.
I need to shut up until the Bears win a game, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know, man. You're kind of digging yourself a hole here. But I respect it. It's a respectable hole.
Listen, I dug my hole ever since... I've been digging my hole ever since Jordan Love got drafted.
Sure. Yeah, it's wild. It's a wild circumstance right now. What's going on with Green Bay, and it's gonna be one of those really like hammered in, obnoxious TV topics that are just gonna be like we're gonna hear about constantly until Monday night, when this fucking thing gets like a part of me is like I am rooting for the Packers just so that way everyone can just shut up about the Packers because I'm a little over it.
That's fair.
But. I agree with you. It would be fucking hilarious if the Lions won. So, Team Chaos all the way. All right. So I think overall, if this was another one that we did 3 disagreements on.
Yep. Our Team Chaoses, and then we split Dallas Chargers.
Yep. There you go. So we'll see how that all ends up unfolding. But yeah, that is that. So stay tuned, folks. We are going to be next week is going to be we'll do our usual NFL stuff, but soon after that we may be having our first VVBFL episode, and we'll be kicking things off for our VVBFL squads. Maybe in the next episode we may even do a segment on the VVBFL, kind of like just previewing our teams, kind of letting you guys know what the hell is going on in the world of the VVBFL. Did that even come out in the Discord?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know if all weird noises just get cut out by or call applications. I don't know. But thank you so much for watching or for listening, and we will see you next week.
Good night, and good ball. Virtual Ball Boys has been brought to you by Team Chaos Productions. Find us on Twitter at Virtual Ball Boys and find more of our work at Team Chaos Pods.